Hello friends, this is my next video on the chapter of marketing environment, and this time I'm covering the learning objective number 5, that is responding to the global dynamic marketing environment. So first of all, covering the different types of environment we have already covered in our earlier videos, that is the internal, external, and under external we talk about the micro and macro environment. But at that point of time, we covered this marketing environment with respect to the domestic front. But now we are talking with respect to the global front, the similar environment and the same components, but at the global aspects. So, first of all, understanding the components of internal, micro, and macro environment, as we have already spoken about, and it's being visible on the slides. Internal is controllable, micro and macro under the purview of external environment is uncontrollable environment. So, if you talk about the international business environment, this is really affected continuously by internal or home or domestic and external or host or international environment. So, an international businessman can only be successful if he understands and accepts the dynamics of international business environment, because at the global scale things are really dicey, and the environment components produces a lot of risk because of the pastel at the host country or at the international level is totally different. Every country is a sovereign entity, and the kind of environment or the structures, rules, and regulations they've created is totally different from other countries most of the times. So these seven eyes of international marketing are very, very important for a businessman or for an entrepreneur to understand. See, first of all, they need to decide on the entry mode when they enter a particular industry or when they make an investment in any other industry. So there are different investment or different entry modes available, like foreign direct investment, foreign institutional investors, joint venture, wholly owned subsidiary route. You have export import route. You have manufacturing contract route. You have likewise, there are different entry modes available. The another important decision when you talk about the international scenarios, the interest and the exchange rates would keep changing. Uh, what about your industrial unit location? That is the plant location, and for this, the physical environment needs to be very lucrative. The entrepreneurs who will handle the country related operational aspect, because you are not from the similar country, you are from a different country. So you need the support from entrepreneurs who will take care of your operational activities and department activities involved in the business. Apart from this, you have to be very careful for your IPR, such as patent, copyright, brand marks, business methodology, because at the domestic front, there are a lot of followers who try to copy on the way you conduct your business, the way you produce your products, and the way you market. So they'll copy you guys. So in order to protect yourself, you need to exercise on IPR rights. And then you need to be careful for import export policy of your products and international product life cycle, which varies from domestic product life cycle. So environment within the company considered to be the internal environment that needs to be analyzed before looking for international business. So you need to conduct a SWOT analysis, to achieve success while making a good plan. So you need to understand your strengths, weaknesses, and then you need to find out the opportunities and threats available in the outside world. So internal environment, we have already spoken about in our earlier videos. So the components are more or less similar. But since we are going to the host countries or we are trying to enter into another country, so we need to be careful for the external environment, especially the macro environment, because the pastel of each country is different. So the external environment, when we say acronym pastel, is the political, economical, socio-cultural, technological, legal, and environmental components. You need to be very, very careful. So, at the international level, political environments needs to be scanned because it is the direct or indirect effect of the system of government and judiciary on international business. So, in case of the political environment, for international marketeer is not favorable, then probably doing the business in that particular country may be highly risky. So you need to scan the political environment, what kind of relationship both the countries are having, and whether the politician's attitude or the power that they're exercising or the policies that they're making, whether they are investment friendly or not. So, for example, there were restriction on export of textile goods from India to Europe and USA. This is a very rigid political environment example. So one has to be very, very careful before entering into the host country. So because there are a lot of risks available when you talk about the political risks, because one is the transfer of money risk, transfer of capital risk, transfer of people risk, transfer or production equipment risk, transfer of technology risk. So the first risk is the transfer risk. Second is the operational risk. The operational activities may be constrained by taxation. Then is ownership control risks because the government may restrict the ownership of assets or only allow a minor ownership by classification of properties. Government can also seizure your business abruptly with or without compensation in case of any defaulters or in case of any issues that are popping up in the international scenario. So an international marketeer usually cross-check the risks before taking jobs and only enters if there is a profit at the international level. So the another component which is very important to scan when you talk about the global environment is the legal aspects of the business. So all the multinational companies are giving importance to political and legal issues when they enter into the international business. So with respect to the legal environment, the important consideration for an entrepreneur or a business class people is the intellectual property rights, piracy, bribes, infrastructure, working conditions, and discriminations because you get the unfair treatment at times in the domestic environment. So the Indian system needs to be proactive towards the international business. Like China is very proactive and they have very user-friendly policies. That's the reason they're growing further at a very high growth rate. So with this, I believe the cultural environment is the next component that you need to talk about, which means the socially learned behaviors, values, and the belief. And this is a very important aspect in the case of international scenario because learnings from different reference groups, society, learning from teachers, and learning from peer groups impacts a lot. And this learning is not inherited. So there are different cultures that makes people to perceive and think differently. They set their own priorities because culture affects a lot of things. Culture affects individual values, group values, work values, interpersonal relations, ethical levels, and it is the only cultural environments that brings in a particular code of conduct with respect to the way people live, they consume the products and services, they dress up. So according to the cultural aspects, the things get sold in the market most of the times. Then the next component is the economic environment at the international level. If you see these economic forces that are prevailing a country is called the economic environment, and this environment can be classified into income groups, region groups. This can be classified by economic system and by the trade policies. So an international marketeer need to scan the economic environment, and if they are looking an income related segment, so they need to be very careful. If they are trying to go with the regiocentric orientation, then they need to be careful. They need to scan the economic system and understand the different trade policies because the response of the international marketeer needs to be according to the hurdles or according to the pestle that's being created in that particular country. So the things are actually uncontrollable. So, you can only react. You can't control these things. You can only react to what is happening with you. So you can react and adapt to forces in the environment. Aggressive actions to affect forces in the environment, and you need to watch and react accordingly. So react, adapt, and act is actually the key. How do you respond? There are multiple dimensions that international marketing needs to take care of with respect to the environmental challenges or the constraints that are available in front of you. The first is the innovation is very, very important because with innovation, you can make developments, you can improve the standard of living. For example, Philips talks about a lot of innovation. Then the product development is the key to survive. Likewise, Hyundai is very famous for product development with respect to the categories, and an example of Creta Night Edition can be seen with respect to the product development aspect. You need to keep on developing your markets like Bolero pickup by Mahindra and Mahindra for rural segment. You need to penetrate the market by reducing the price. Nihar reduced its price and created a downward stretch in the market wherein they were able to penetrate the market further. You need to diversify into different product lines. For example, Reliance, they have got more than 180 subsidiaries. You need to create economies of scale to put the cost down, like the way Godrej has done, and then you need to forecast, looking at the trends available in the market, and then you can be the leader through forecasting. For example, Maruti has been into the leadership position through their effective forecast, and then you need to analyze well. You need to take support from artificial intelligence. You need to take help from CRM software to keep developing your skills and maintain the effective leadership. You need to ensure that you make collaborations at the horizontal, vertical, concentric, and conglomerate level. You need to make sure that you cut down the cost and to provide more value to the customers. And for this, you can apply several strategies. And through expenses in research and development, you can definitely gain an edge in the market. So there is a list of 12 points when you talk about how to respond along with the examples. So I'll explain these examples one by one in a very quick manner for your better understanding. Because when I spoke about the Philips innovation example, the Philips focuses on user-centric innovation. They create healthcare and lifestyle solutions that meaningfully improves lives through technology and designs. And Hyundai for product development, they enhances customer appeal by launching with sporty aesthetics, advanced features, and limited edition exclusivity. With respect to the Mahindra Bolero pickup targets rural markets with robust design, high payload capacity, and suitability for tough terrains and local needs. And the market penetration Nihar example, Nihar leverages price reduction strategy to attract budget conscious consumers to increase market share and strengthen its position in hair oil segment. With respect to the Reliance diversification, Reliance has been diversifying into different product lines such as telecom, retail, energy sectors, and the idea is to reduce dependency on one product line and ensure long-term business sustainability. Godrej benefits from economies of scale through bulk production, efficient distribution, and cost advantages. Thereby, they have been able to enhance their competitiveness and profitability. Maruti uses forecasting techniques to anticipate demand trends, align production schedules, and manage inventory efficiently across diverse vehicle segments. And IBM integrates advanced analytics and business solutions and helping organizations uncover insights, optimize operations, and drive smarter decision making across industries. Then Microsoft is a wonderful example that utilizes AI in its products categories or products like Azure and Copilot. By this, they are able to enhance automation, they are able to enhance decision making capabilities and personalized user experiences across digital platforms. And CRM softwares are really useful. For example, Salesforce provide this particular software due to which they're in a position to enable businesses to manage relationship with the customers, track sales, and deliver personalized marketing campaigns. Uh, Skill development is a wonderful aspect with respect to the international scenario. So training to employees in order to improve their adaptability, improve their knowledge, skills, and attitude, and enabling organization to remain competitive in this rapidly evolving business environments. Last but not the least is the effective leadership that involves motivating teams, resolving conflicts, setting clear goals, and fostering collaborations to achieve organizational success and growth. And there are different types of collaboration that strengthen business capabilities like horizontal collaborations helps in improvement of market share, vertical collaborations helps in improvement of supply chain, concentric collaboration gives you synergy, and conglomerate collaboration gives you diversification. So, in order to cut the cost, there are several measures that an organization can adopt. For example, layoff actually reduces the operational expenses during downturns, but it also may impact the morale of the employee, productivity, and company reputation if it is not handled strategically and transparently. Well, research and development is the most important critical area in order to bring in the innovation. Like BMW invests heavily in R&D, and that's the way they keep producing innovations. They focus on electric mobility, autonomous driving, and advanced safety technologies. What are the different strategies when you're facing a downturn in the business scenario, especially at the international scale? There are 8 M that one needs to be taking care of. First of all, the marketing budget needs to be understand, and then you need to do a good forecast based upon the research that will help you understand your customers and be more closer on what you wanted or what the target market wanted. Then you create a marketing plan wherein you try to invest in recession and to gain future mileage in terms of marketing mix. Then start coming up with revised marketing organization structures. You can choose one of the structures out of geographic, market-based, product line-based, or hybrids, depending upon the context and the situation available in front of you. You need to ensure that you do your staffing correctly, or in case of downturn, you can reduce your company's the employment point of view. You can lay off, and accordingly, you can bring in more recruitment selection. Depends on the growth aspects of your business. With respect to the market directing, you need to ensure effective leadership, communication, motivation, and coordination. And at last, but not the least, you need to fine tune your brands and offerings as per the research that you have conducted. You need to control on everything. In a nutshell, you need to cover the basics of marketing in order to improve your performance through best practices. And finally, customer satisfaction, value, relationship, customization, complaint management is the key, be it at the domestic front or the international front. So with this, I like to end this particular video while covering my learning objective five on how to respond to the global dynamic marketing environment. I once again thank you all for patiently listening to my content. And with this, the unit of marketing environment is thoroughly covered and over with 5 objectives. Now, my next video will talk about the next unit, which is consumer behavior. So with this, I like to end this video. Thank you very, very much.